Welcome, everyone, to Charlotte Motor Speedway. Race 7 of the ARCS High Octane Series presented by Drip Diecast and Collectibles. And it is a patriotic night here at the foundation of stock car racing. 100 laps with an extended formation lap. We will be a 4-wide salute to those that have served the nation's colors. Welcome, everyone, to part 2 of ABN's doubleheader coverage. That began at 7 a.m. It's been a long day for us here on ABN. We're glad you're with us here on Twitch. I'm Carmen, Sienna. We're glad you're with us. 100 laps here, very simple to follow along with as this race gets ready to be underway. Top of the order is Donald Ray and Matthew Seeger. Seeger, the points leader, going into this event. Let me correct myself before I say anything too awful more incorrect on that.
Hang on, we're not going green.
Points going into this race, it is Seeger that leads the way over Vincenzo Iacovazzi, so I was correct on that. He starts on the front row in this race this afternoon. Donald Ray, front of the field. A lot of patriotic schemes on play tonight. You see they'll go in formation here, 3 wide. As everything is underway, we'll go over the starting grid with Donald Ray and Matthew Seeger front of the field. It's Connor Knowlton and Dale Markowski that'll start this race 3rd and 4th on the grid. Aiden Norman, his return to the field. He'll start top 6 alongside that of Chris Melton. Tom Sears and Matt Borndren sit in row number 4. The top 10 rounded out by Elliot Longenecker and Chris Fleming. Be in our top 10. Just outside the top 10, Kevin Feemster and Colin McDonough. Then you have the newcomer, James Wagoner, alongside Vincenzo Iacobazzi, second place in points. Howard George and Tristan Catania, they sit in row number 8. Row number 9 is where you'll find the 32 of Marshall Harris alongside Stephen Oberstadt. Row 10 is Robert Keach Jr. and Bradley Wright. Row 11 is where you'll find Patrick Allen and what would have normally been Patrick Allen and I believe Bren Roberts. Roberts on the racetrack. There he is, just further back in the order, the 84 Toyota. Patrick Allen, not on the racetrack. We will not see him make his return to ARCS competition tonight.
Hang on, we're not going green.
Everyone getting ready to go racing here. Formation lap, we were 3 wide. Now everyone getting sorted once again into an orderly fashion. Points going into tonight's race. Matthew Seeger with 281 points. Vincenzo Iacobazzi with 268. Tom Sears with 267. Matt Borndren 265. It is a 4-car fight at the top, and then a separation to Kevin Feemster in 5th with 208. Chris Fleming in 6th has 203 points, and then Dale Markowski has 200. Austin Mongold, Bradley Wright, James Kerr, Colin McDonough, Connor Knowlton, they are the top 12, trying to make it into the playoffs here in the High Octane Series. The separation between Connor Knowlton and Donald Ray, a meager 2 points. Slim margins there between Knowlton and Donald Ray. Ray at the front of the field, going to try to scoot into the top 12 here before we head to Lime Rock Park next weekend. 21 cars on track for this race. 40 have scored points this season so far. It's Donald Ray alongside Matthew Seeger. A lot of patriotic paints in some way, shape, or form, whether they are camo, whether they are the stars and stripes. We have the salute to those that have served the nation's colors to open up the race. The formation lap's underway there. I believe the stage we're looking at tonight is on lap 35 here in Charlotte Motor Speedway. So some heavy work that needs to be done for some of the drivers in this field with time ticking down. Donald Ray on the outside looking in. Seeger trying to defend his regular season points order. And everyone else trying to slot themselves into the top 12 in points in some way, shape, or form. It is time to put planning into action. For the 7th time, we go racing. We are live from Charlotte. We are underway for the High Octane Series here on ABN. Tom Sears getting out of the way quickly. He knows the order of the process that goes into this. Donald Ray completes lap 1 at the front of the field. Seeger still battling in the outside lane, trying to find a way to the front of the field. Donald Ray getting a little bit of support from Connor Knowlton for a little bit. Knowlton playing both lanes here, ahead of Carmen, who's moved up 1 spot. Biggest mover already, Chris Fleming up 4 spots from 10th to 6th. Top 10 score stage points in the only stage break of the night. Again, that we're estimating is 35. It was 35 in the other mile and a half race of the season. Assuming it's going to be the same, we're somewhere here. Holsitter shuffled to the outside lane, getting passed by Knowlton. Sears going a lap down immediately. This makes life a little bit more difficult. Norman up in 4th, trying to get another win here in the trucks of ARCS. Sitting right now in the 4th spot. Dale Markowski found 5. Fleming still in the 6th spot. Trying to hold on here. It's Chris and Chris show for 6th and 7th. It's Fleming and Melton. 20 car still on the racetrack. Tom Sears is still on pit lane. We saw him slow down on the opening lap. His race may be over early. And Vincenzo Iacovazzi, the Pennsylvania native, not far from New York. Huge fan of it. Sitting in eastern Pennsylvania is Iacovazzi in 10th place here ahead of McDonough, who made his Arrowhead 500 debut on Wednesday. McDonough was to the inside of Iacovazzi as Donald Ray watches them battle further behind. Behind him, it is Melton that gets ahead of Fleming. Seeger leads the way. Norman up to 3rd. It is a 3-truck breakaway early on here in the High Octane Series. Norman trying to join the battle for the race lead as Chris Melton tries to close in on Donald Ray. Marshall Harris is officially out, starting and parking this race after just 5 laps. Currently classified 20th place. If Tom Sears gets back out on track, he will move Harris down 21st. File now throughout the field. Tires beginning to lose that overwhelming grip level that they had at the start. Getting worn in, getting heated up. It's a little bit more difficult. Fleming still in pursuit of the top 5. Same with Markowski and Borndren. Everyone trying to chase down Matthew Seeger, the points leader. 16 Chevrolet out front. It is Chevrolet 4, Chevrolet in the podium places at the moment. Chris Melton, the highest placed Toyota. Several Toyotas in this field to take the start. 4 of them still running on the lead lap as things stand right now. Riley Wright and Brennan Roberts 15th and 16th. Robert Keats Jr. in the 18th spot. Toyota report there. A lot of Chevrolets in this field. 6 of the top 10 are the bow tie. Louisville makes up the remaining 3 spots. Trying to pull away from Knowlton. Knowlton trying to stay away from Aiden Norman. Aiden Norman has his mirror filled with a lot of red, white, and blue. Here comes a battle between 38 Fleming and the 33 of Markowski. And then you have the 00 of Borndren. Battle's still going on. Kowski's still trying to find a way around the 38 of Fleming. Easier said than done here at Charlotte. Very slow moves. Going around this racetrack. Still side by side, but still in Fleming's favor. That battle for the 6th spot. One of those instances where the shortest is not the fastest way around all the time. Here comes Donald Ray chasing down Aiden Norman, trying to get back to 3rd spot because Aiden Norman comes down pit lane. Really loose entering pit lane, but it is a pit stop for the number 62 and comes out right on cue. I believe this is for Elrich George, the number 40. I don't know if this is the stage break or if this is part of the caution. We'll find out. I think the caution was called before that. Now we're short just reacting to it. Jr. Yeah, he got dinged heavily by the caution there. Came down pit lane, a very closed pit lane. Robert Keith Jr. in a lot of trouble, and his race is over. Aiden Norman got away with it because he was in pit lane before the yellow flag came out. So he will reap the benefits of that. The rest of the field, though, on the end of this stage break, stage coming out the end of lap 15, not 35. So lap 15 will be Seeger, Knowlton, and Donald Ray. Aiden Norman, being very smart about his moves, gets to the front of the field. He will lead here in Charlotte as everyone else comes down pit lane. And Tristan Catania, who also came down pit lane a lap earlier, will get the lucky dog, will get the free pass to be back on the lead lap. 3 retirements, 1 did not start. Robert Keach Jr. out. Marshall Harris starting and parking, and Tom Sears completing exactly 1 lap of this race. Patrick Allen, the failure to start here in Charlotte. Gives us 17 trucks on the lead lap. Make that 18 with Dale Markowski. All the trucks running on the lead lap, essentially. But everyone had those first 15 laps to figure out exactly how tough it is to pass here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. So let's go ahead and go through it. Pull down the information here. 1.5 miles, 100 laps, 45 miles an hour the pit road speed. Pit window we thought was about 25 to 30 laps. We saw a lot of that in that opening stint, uninterrupted. Corners here around the Charlotte Motor Speedway, 24 degrees of banking. Both the front stretch and the back stretch, it is 5 degrees each. Weather as things run right now. 80 degrees the air temp, track temp, not far away from it, 82 degrees. Manageable wind, low humidity. Perfect night for racing here in North Carolina. Race leader Aiden Norman will take the lead on this restart. Lead the field to green for the Charlotte 150 here for the High Octane Series following the stage break on lap 15.
Green, green, green.
Here comes the green flag, and once again we are racing. And this time the field has about 83 laps to figure out how they're going to win here in North Carolina. Turn 3 and 4 to the Tri-Oval this time. Kevin Beanstrup 5 spots. Riley Wright, Bluegrass Bandit, up 11 spots right now, battling with Stephen Overstadt. There's Tom Sears back out on the racetrack here, multiple laps down. Out here to have some fun tonight. So far doing a good job of that. Seeger back ahead of Norman. Norman still ahead of Knowlton. And it's a bottleneck from there on back. Ray, Fleming, Thorntron, all in the mix. They are side by side still, bottlenecked out of turns 1 and 2. Comes the 24 of Knowlton to the inside lane of Norman. Side by side Belgo out of turns 3 and 4. Connor Ray goes at the racetrack, so does Matt Thorntron and tags the wall. Now stay side by side. Norman on the older tires here with all the work to do. Three wide in the middle. Trying to make a way through. That's the 52 of Chris Melton. And they're going to be 4 wide in the Tri-Oval. Tom Sears through the AstroTurf. Still through the AstroTurf. Norman tags the safer barrier. He's going to drag back. And James Wagner, the 30, is going to be the bandit in the situation, making out with second place ahead of Vincenzo Iacovazzi. Wild stuff there, and it benefits the 30 of Wagner for the time being. All of this benefits the race leader Matthew Seeger, who is happy to see the battling ensue. Norman dropped down to 14th, and the field spreads out as a result of the melee a lap ago. Iacovazzi trying to battle to get ahead of the lap car of Sears. Meanwhile, here comes Wagner, the 30. Surpasses the 16 of Seeger. His debut race going swimmingly. Tom Sears gets hip checked below the white and blue line by Iacovazzi. And it got very physical, very quick here in Charlotte. We're just 25% of the way through, quarter way through. And it is an absolute goose chase right now. Wagner, Iacovazzi, Melton, Overstadt, and Seeger, your top 5 as things sit currently. It is 4 cars in this conversation. Seeger a little further back. then it's Borndren, Knowlton, Ray, Roberts, Gamefer, Tania, Riley Wright, Chris Fleming in that second group. Aiden Norman a little bit further back, trying to hold on to the tail. Rich George has lost the draft. So is Elliot Longenecker and Dale Markowski. Colin McDonough, technical failure for the 39, and currently out of the Charlotte 150 alongside Robert Keith Jr. and Marshall Harris. Tom Sears running multiple laps down, trying to poach those positions away. Wagoner under threat from Chris Melton. Battling for the top spot. Here they go. Slow car up the road. That is Dale Markowski that they're coming across now. He will not be easy to pass. He's going to make it easy for him. Let them all go through on the inside lane. Going to force this fight as Oberstadt takes P3 away from Yakovazi. Oberstadt in third, Wagoner in second, Melton up at the front, leading the way. That flips the car for Melton. This will be his second lap led, and caution's out. Not entirely sure what for. This is the stake, lap 30. So this is what they were racing to. That from the series officials here. And that means that Chris Melton gets all the stage points there. 10 stage points for him. All the way down to Kevin Feenstra in 10th, getting 1 stage point. The field will come down pit lane all together now. Busy pit lane as the field rolls down. Colin McDonough rejoining the race here, but will not get the free pass. That'll instead go to Dale Markowski, I do believe. Yes, it will. Markowski back on the lead lap, gets a 17 trucks. McDonough will rejoin the race several laps down. It looks like 5 laps down for McDonough. Will remain 10 laps ahead of Tom Sears. Sears at 19th, McDonough at 18th. Field goes through pit lane. For the most part, pretty harmless. Stripped down pit lane. Some cars staying in for repairs. Elliot Longenecker, Aiden Norman, Elrich George, Bill Markowski, the free passenger being making his pit stop now. Just like that, the pit lane back to nearly completely deserted. So 30 laps in the books. We've got a little under 70 laps left to go. Got 2 cautions in this race so far. See if they're coming back around pit lane here. Some cars topping off with fuel, including 2 of your race leaders, 3 of your race leaders. Melton, Wagoner, and Yakovazi all down pit lane to hand the lead right back off to Matthew Seeger, who will now deal with Steven Oberstadt at the front of the field for the first time. Knowlton and Borndren, 2 dirt track specialists, right now sitting row 2. Feenstra, Roberts, row 3. Catania and Ray, row 4. Riley Wright, Chris Fleming, row 5. That's how they will line up in your top 10 here for the second restart of the night. "17 trucks on the lead lap to get ready for this. Our storage still in pit lane, getting repaired work done. And now returning to the racetrack. Go. Race truck is in. Green flag back out and away we go. Second restart and Matthew Seeger off and away he goes. Pulling Matt Borndren with him. Overstat does a smart thing. Drops down in third in front of Brent Roberts. Out down the back straightaway here into turns 3 and 4. Seeger but back up the road. It's Overstat back ahead of Borndren down to 4th already after that amazing restart. Brent Roberts up to 3rd. Knowlton trying to get back up the order as well. Kevin Feimster sitting and waiting in 6th. Donald Ray a little more distant down in 7th right now as things sit out of turns 1 and 2. Hayden Norman up to the wall pretty high, so with Chris Fleming. Overstat personal best, same with Catania, Wright, and Norman that last time around. Everyone trying to get a piece of the race lead if they can get a hand on it. Another personal best for both Feimster and Overstat. Overstat 29.94. Still 2/10 slower than the race leader. In the wall tag there from Matt Borndren. Talked to Matt Borndren after his podium last weekend. Said he was optimistic but very timid on the idea of getting back to the podium or trying to get another race win here this season at Charlotte. Didn't know what that 00 truck would bring. So far it's been a top 5 truck tonight. Up until recently, now down in the 6th spot. Struggling to keep hold of that 00 truck. While Seeger, Overstat, Roberts, Knowlton, and Feimster all waltz away. They will waltz quickly. Here comes Overstat, looks to the outside. He knows that Seeger's not going to get in the bottom lane. He's got to be unique and creative here, and that's what he's going to try to do. To the middle lane goes Overstat, 3. Not that time, not in 1 and 2. Here we go through 3 and 4. Overstat looking for a chance at the race lead. Can Seeger stop him at a 3 and 4? Answer that question, no. New race leader, Steven Overstat. And Seeger got right back to the bottom of the racetrack to get underneath of him. And right back around goes Seeger for the race lead once again. Great work so far in front of the field. Overstat, though, showing that he is here to play. Brent Roberts also lying and lurking. Let's see how this all plays out so far. Playing out the way Seeger wants it to play out, although it's a lot more pressure than he anticipated. 5 cars under an umbrella. Again, Overstat looking for a chance at the race lead, but here comes Brent Roberts. Roberts and Overstat are going to work together a little bit here. A very linked recent history for the two. Brent Roberts in the HL Cup Series filled in for Steven Overstat in the number 8 Chevrolet and got that car to victory lane in Atlanta last Monday. Amazing moment for the Carolina Beagle Racing team. Not just the immediate reaction here this time. Seeger leads the way still. Roberts helped out with Seeger retaining that race lead across the line. And now it's Bryn Roberts side by side with an advantage over the 3 of Overstep. The 2 cautions, both of them in the first stage, one in the stage. Since then, it's been pretty well clear sailing, but green flag pit stops are going to be a necessary adjustment if it stays this way. And that's where things can really change under the 9. Arnold in the 4th spot. Just up ahead of Kevin Feemster. At the bumper of the 3 Chevrolet, that Silverado of Overstep. Riley Wright in 7th behind Chris Fleming. Chris Connie at 8th. Aiden Norman back up to the top 10. Same with Donald Ray, 9th and 10th for them. Matt Borgren has dropped out of the top 10 to 11th place. He is joining Vincenzo Iacobazzi out of the top 10. Clean real estate here. Dirty air going to be a huge factor in these trucks right now, especially as these tires continue to wear more and more, and you need more and more of the racetrack. See this battle further down the order. Aiden Norman trying to make his way forward, trying to get around 48 at Catania. The assistance from Donald Ray. Up to the 8th spot. Now trying to chase down his Banner Racing teammate, Riley Wright. Wright sitting in the 7th spot, up 14 spots. Bryn Roberts in 2nd, up 18 spots. Stephen Overstad up 15 spots, up to 3rd from 18. They've lost about a second on not on Riley Wright. Well, yeah, but I guess for them on Riley, right? Yeah, 1 minute, 10 seconds. Right. 1 second, 10 tenths. Not a minute gap there. That'd be really hard to do it around Charlotte without going just a lap down. Be almost 2. Seeger wishes he could put the whole field lap down. You know, the 16 car would be cruising. Instead, it's Overstad and Bryn Roberts duking it out right now for the 2nd spot, having gotten to this point, but pulling away from both Connor Knowlton and Kevin Feem. 19 cars still running, 17 on the lead lap. Outstanding stuff so far from here in Atlanta. Not in Atlanta, in Charlotte. Crossing the halfway point. Getting my tracks all mixed up. It's been a very long day. We've spent 11 hours in Spain at the Motorland Aragon. Car in the fence with Fleming. Kick off the second half of the Charlotte 150 here. Something we've not done all season for the High Octane series. Let's go ahead. Let's crank it up. time being able to crank it up here for the Charlotte 150 here on ABN. Stephen Overstat, we thought might inherit the race lead. Instead, it is Brent Roberts that has done so by half a second over Matthew Seeger. The sheet's number 84 doing a great job so far, but now it's a matter of trying to hold on to the race lead here. Ahead of the points leader, Stephen Overstat in third, Connor Knowlton in fourth, Donald Ray up to the top 5. Keeping an eye on this battle for the race lead. Center of your screen, Brent Roberts, Seeger in the 16. James Wagner, the 30, who's led laps in this race. Scored 9 stage points for his debut. Fantastic effort so far, but not a great pit stop. Now about to go a lap down in 17th right now. Last car on the lead lap. Cars spread throughout the field here. This is further back in the running order. This is just outside the top 5. Yakabazi in 6th. Norman in 7th, the first one to come down pit lane. Chris Fleming in 8th, Riley Wright in 9th, Dale Markowski, your top 10, a little further behind. Trying to hold off Matt Borndrup. We have pockets of activity throughout the racetrack here. The front of the field now belongs to the points leader, Matthew Seeger. Brent Roberts trying to hold on now for the second spot. We know there's another pit stop coming in this race. They did not make it the full 30 laps. That would be required just to get to lap 90. So we know there's a second pit stop coming and it's not going to be far away. Front and center away from the field. Brent Roberts has dropped down to 3rd behind Stephen Overstat. Everyone on the line astern behind Donald Ray. 5th place, Donald Ray. About to be under threat from Vincenzo Iacobazzi and Chris Fleming in the turns 3 and 4. Fleming trying to find a way around Iacobazzi as well. 2 Chevrolets with a Ford in the middle. "35 laps to go, coming to 34 to go here in Charlotte." Still trying to find a way around Donald Ray. And then the 38 of Fleming, kind of just figuring out which lane he wants to run on. It looks like he's going to follow the 23, try to get around Donald Ray here. Try to lead Riley Wright and Aiden Norman in the dust. Ray fighting back hard on the outside lane. Really making life difficult right now. Now, Fleming knows what lane he needs to go on. He's trying to get around Iacobazzi. And he goes one better, goes up to the wall. Trying to rip ride around. Donald Ray tags the fence. Tags the fence again harder, and there's going to be trouble. There's a caution. Fleming and Donald Ray into it together. Hard impact for both. Fleming comes to a stop at the entrance of turn 1. And Donald Ray pancaked the wall twice. The second one, the most costly. And this will help the field get to the end of the race if it stays under regulation. Third caution of the night. Take a look at what happened here. Already started. A lot of hard racing going on here at this point. Just smacks the wall once. Fleming shoots the inside, but tips on a Ray and hits him again. Hard hit right there in the tri-oval. Unfortunately for Donald Ray, the race gone from good to bad in a hurry. So that puts Matthew Seeger at the front of the field as we get ready to come down to 30 laps to go here in Charlotte 150. Field will come down pit lane. So we're going to step aside in the broadcast booth, mostly just get refreshments because it's been a long day and need to drink something. So don't go anywhere. Picture is going to continue live here on AVN of the ARCS High Octane Series presented by Drift Collectors. Took a little bit longer to get back underway. For us here in the broadcast booth, had a little bit of a technical glitch in our audio systems. And the caution back out, and it looks like we're going to have to hold on that restart because it is an awful crash on the back straightaway. And yeah, the damage is going to show. It's Elliot Longenecker in the 25. Elvis George, Colin McDonough, Stephen Overstead looks like all involved. Same with Bradley Wright. Let's get a good look at what happened here. This is down. This has actually started pretty early out of turn number 2. Looks like a pretty large bottleneck here. Trying to get a good look at what's all going on here. It looks like it starts right here with Iacovazzi and Bradley Wright. Oh, and Bradley Wright just gets super loose. And then gets run into by Longenecker, who then collects a bunch of cars all together. Elvis George gets a piece of it. That was McDonough that got a huge piece of it as well. Donald Ray, another big piece of it there. My goodness. C25 just trying to get back to pit lane. Matt Borndren stays out. He thinks this is the play. He's going to run with it. Donald Ray will get one of his laps back. He is several laps down. As you probably saw without my commentary under that last caution. So, again, stopping to try to get some refreshment and then having an audio issue, preventing me from coming back on time. Borndren leads. Tanya posting in the chat that Last of Us car is cool. Yes, it is cool. So is the series that it was based off the game that's been streaming. Fantastic stuff all the way around. The games and the series are good. Borndren will start alongside Matthew Seeger, the points leader. Knowlton looks like he might come back down pit lane to top off the fuel. That 24 car. See how that plays out. That might be actually be the case for Knowlton, and it wouldn't be a bad decision. He will stay out though, not coming down pit lane after all. Chris Fleming making a comment. Great series, not a great showing by Fleming, but a great series nonetheless. Fleming out after 69 laps completed. Not so nice considering the circumstances. Fleming will be classified in the, by the time Tom Sears gets around him, 19th finishing position. Alongside Robert Keats Jr. and Marshall Harris. McDonough still on pit lane. Donald Ray still 2 laps down. $15 trucks on the lead lap from Matt Borndren and Matthew Seeger, all the way down to Dale Markowski. Doing the 24 laps to go in the Charlotte 150. Still a lot of trucks in it to win it. Borndren, Seeger, Knowlton, Roberts, Feemster, Norman, all in the top 6. It's gonna be a wild trip. Pace truck pulls in. It's on Borndren's control. Across from Seeger. Away we go. Racing once more. Off we go into turn 1. Roberts rip riding around the top of the racetrack, gets to the front of the field, ahead of Borndren. Borndren did not top off a field that last caution, was the only driver to not to. Keep an eye on that 00 to see if he still has enough fuel to make it to the end. 22 laps to go. Borndren thinks he saved enough. You better be right. Across the line, side by side. Borndren trying to get that lead back. Trying to rely on the side draft to do so. And it's going to be 3 wide. Aiden Norman, Mr. Where did he come from? Outside lane. With help from Seeger, Aiden Norman in that Bojangles 62. Trying to get to the lead of the race for the first time tonight. Borndren led that lap. Here comes Seeger. And Seeger turns Norman into the fence. In the fence again. And that's going to be trouble. That's going to be a caution. And that is Seeger turned around backwards in the fence. Points leader. His race went from good to bad in a heartbeat. An even worse sign, Seeger could not get that truck refired. So let's take a look. Obviously, it had already started here. It needs to go back just a little bit further. An amazing move outside, 3 wide by Aiden Norman to get to the chance of the race lead. Just trying to lead for the first time today. Obviously, it was go time. Less than 20 laps to go. Borndren, that's not on Norman. Norman's responding to Matt Borndren up ahead. And obviously, we'll look at what happened with Seeger getting clipped by the 30 of James Wagoner here in a moment. Looks like Aiden Norman also not able to make it under his own power back to pit lane. That looks a lot like Borndren not knowing they were 3 wide. Yeah, I have a feeling. I have a very strong feeling. Yeah, Borndren did not have any idea. I don't even know if Norman knew that he was still there. Seeger gets clipped by the 24 of Knowlton. Norman back in the fence. Seeger tries to get off the wall to get out of the way, and just gets clipped by the 30 of James Wagoner, who loses bodywork himself. He's not out of this scot-free. And you see the damage to Seeger's truck. And everything goes away for Seeger in a heartbeat. And so the field resets a little bit here. Norman in pit lane still. Donald Ray still not on the lead lap. However, only 1 lap down across the melee so far. So he's hoping for 1 more caution without being in it. Matt Borndren once again front of the field. Still saving fuel. 16-lap shootout ahead of us if we stay green the entire duration. It is Matt Borndren and Connor Knowlton at the front of the field. Kevin Feemster, Vincenzo Iacobazzi in row number 2. Chris Melton and James Wagner in row number 3. Keep an eye on the number 30 truck. Wagner being involved in that last caution could be a huge problem. Bradley Wright, Stephen Oberstadt, row 4. Row 5, Brendan Roberts and Elliot Longenecker. They topped off with fuel and got some fresh tires. They're going to be charging forward rapidly. Tristan Catania, Elrich George, row 6. Dale Markowski, the last truck on the lead lap for this 5th restart. Ace truck is in. Green flag flies. Away we go again. Three wide, almost for the race lead. Iacobazzi thought better of it. Flashbacks from last week at Michigan. Knowlton to the front. Race leader now with 15 laps to go. Borndren still looking for a chance to go back-to-back on the race wins. Taking on a familiar face at the front. Iacobazzi in 3rd. In danger of being passed by Feemster. There's 17 just down the road. Feemster pancakes the wall hard. Everyone keeps applying the right direction, including the 52 of Melton. And around goes Bradley Wright. Up in the fence. 6th caution of the night's out. Oh, huge contact after the fact, too. Everyone just trying so hard to grab those positions. We'll have a 6th caution as a result. And Melton's race completely over and done. This is going into turn numbers 1 and 2. Slow it down in real time. AB in slow-mo. Just about everyone in this cluster involved here. Bradley Wright gets clipped by the 52 of Melton, who just drifts up the racetrack really tight on the racetrack. All of a sudden, the 52 just takes off. Nowhere for Oberstadt to go. The number 3 Chevrolet sending the 51 Toyota up right into the fence. Melton tries to get back down the racetrack. Gets turned by the 30 of Wagner. Gets clipped by the 25 of Longenecker. Donald Ray gets his wish of getting back on the lead lap. Got to be a wild viewpoint from Catania's truck. We're right on board with him. You see a lot of smoke all of a sudden. Down the racetrack, down the racetrack, down the racetrack, down the racetrack. And clear. On board with Bradley Wright. Gets clipped, and then all you see is asphalt. Pulls it around, pulls it down, trying to get clear. Try to shift down and get back in the first gear to get the truck rolling again. And it works. We'll grab one more look, and this one's going to be from the 52 of Melton, who's officially out of this race. You know, see him saw at the wheel, trying to get this truck to just turn down and stay down. Sawing, sawing, sawing. Yep. Doesn't take much in these trucks. However, he should have held the brakes there. That would have prevented him going right back in the probably right. Yakavazi out front, Brent Roberts in second. Catania in third, Bradley Wright, the wounded Bradley Wright, up in the fourth spot. Bradley Wright knows how important track position is. He's not giving it up. Ten laps to go in regulation is where we're at right now in Charlotte. Been a long doubleheader day. We're 10 laps away from pay dirt and closing out the night. Yakavazi, Roberts, Catania, Wright, Knowlton, Vorndren, Feemster, Longenecker, top 8. Hayes truck is in. Green flag is out, and away we go. Can Yakavazi seal the deal and grab a win for the first time in the High Octane Series? Or is he going to be denied by Brent Roberts? Roberts to the inside, clips the white and blue line, and gets clear. Yakavazi will have a response. He's got to make it quick. 9 laps to go. .13 trucks on the lead lap. Side by side for the race lead. Catania is sitting in wait. Sitting in third. Trying to hold off Connor Knowlton. And here comes the 00 of Matt Vorndren. 8 laps to go at the line. Catania trying to hold on to the podium here. Roberts leads the leg. Looking to add on to his win list, trying to get 2 wins in 7 days after winning on Monday in Atlanta. Catania under threat from both Knowlton and Vorndren. Top to bottom for Knowlton. Drives right underneath the 48. Around goes Knowlton. Knowlton for third. Catania fenced by Vorndren. And there's going to be trouble behind. They got to get sorted out in the 1 and 2. Catania is not going to appreciate being fenced. But they got to go with 6 laps to go. Vorndren gets left behind by both Catania and Feemster. Here comes Feemster. Feemster looking for 4th. And he's also going to kind of hip check Catania just a smidge out of turn 4 there. No quarter given with 5 to go. And Catania gets past. Feemster up to 4th. Vorndren still looking for real estate. So is James Wagoner. Second in the stage for the number 30 truck. Trying everything he can. Feemster on the charge. Truck hard in the fence. I believe that's the 30 of Wagoner. It is. Wagoner hard in the fence. Pancake that 30 truck. Ford's all busted up. Only 2 Toyotas on the lead lap. One of them up front, Brent Roberts, trying to set sail. Coming to 3 laps to go. 4.5 miles. Side by side, Knowlton getting around Iacovazzi. Kevin Feemster in the 4th spot, looking for 3rd. If he can get 2nd, he's going to grab it. Three miles left to go. Oh, Iacovazzi gets loose, almost turns Feemster, saves it. But here comes Borndren for 4th. These two battled it out a lot in Michigan last weekend. Battling again, this time for 4th. Iacovazzi with a chance to take home the championship lead going into Lime Rock next weekend. Brent Roberts out of turn 4. He'll bring us to the white flag. 1 lap to go in Charlotte, presented by Drip Die Casting Collectibles. Kevin Feemster, that late move for tires has proved to be valuable. He's worth its weight in gold, up to 2nd place. Trying to hold off Connor Knowlton for the 2nd spot. As Borndren passes Iacovazzi. Brent Roberts won on Monday in Atlanta. He'll win on Saturday in Charlotte. He wins the Charlotte 150 ahead of Kevin Feemster and Connor Knowlton. Brent Roberts brings home another race win for 1MA Racing. Kevin Feemster returns to the podium. And Connor Knowlton finishes 3rd. The two primarily dirt oval guys finishing 3rd and 4th. Once again in range. Knowlton in 3rd, Borndren in 4th, Iacovazzi in 5th. Donald Ray recovering fantastic for 6th. Had a Longenecker, Markowski, Catania, and Bradley Wright in the top 10. A move through the infield roval section on the front straightaway. But Brent Roberts gets to burn it down as a winner in Charlotte. Great job there by Brent Roberts. Once again, a race winner. Bringing Sheets home to victory lane. On Monday, it was in a Chevrolet. On Saturday, it's in his trusty old Toyota. That closes out a fantastic week for Brent Roberts and his team. Parking on the start-finish line as a winner once again, this time at Charlotte Motor Speedway. An outstanding job. Wild, wild, wild stuff there. Let's go ahead and hear from our podium finishers here. We'll start with our 3rd place driver in this race. We'll talk to Connor Knowlton. Connor, this is Carmen from the ABM booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I do. Do you got me?
Got you loud and clear, Connor. A great effort here, P3, in a wild race that had a little bit of everything throughout. Walk us through it, because that did not seem super easy once we got down to it.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. I had no idea what was going on the entire time. There was fuel management. There was tire strategy. The track was changing. The top came in. The bottom was still good. The right front, was on fire. I could toast marshmallows on it. Honestly, that was an incredible race from start to finish. It was really, really good fun. I had to fight tooth and nail for every position. So I think, kind of talking back through the strategy, I was really, that first stint, I pushed way too hard. Somebody took tires, and, some people took tires, some people didn't, and I just dropped like a rock. I worked my way back up, and, cautions kind of saved the fuel strategy, and then people still had extra sets of tires. So I really was just kind of hanging on the entire time.
And it showed there, obviously, dirt track racing getting a little bit of experience in use there, obviously hanging on. You're used to doing that, obviously, in the dirt ovals. This truck looked like it was an absolute handful. How valuable is that experience coming from the dirt ovals and racing these trucks and having to hang it out as much as you did, especially in those last 10 laps?
I wish there was a cushion on the top. Let me tell you, the setup was really, really tight. It was smoking the right rear, so I'm someone who likes to just drive in hard, get it rotated. Use that on dirt, but mostly the modifieds on asphalt. So that's where I've been spending a lot of my time. So I'm pounding like the bottom, getting it low. And it didn't respond the same way, so I had to completely change my driving style over the course of the race. Dodging wrecks, going high, going low. I think we were 4 wide at one point, so it was absolute chaos. So I found that the top was starting to roll a little bit better, and it was really just trying to keep my momentum up, especially when your tires are worn. It's a lot of damage control that you can do up there. But really the bottom was still dominant, and it was tough because the races were there was short enough, and the fuel strategy was so short that like you couldn't really save and let your tires come into play. You kind of had to go and find the right pace of where I can go really, really hard, but still have enough in the tank to manage the gap that you built. And I was kind of struggling to do that. I was still in lap traffic, so it was really tough to manage this race, really.
Well, you managed it really well. Obviously, a P3 here, no laughing matter, especially with how bad some drivers had it throughout this race tonight. The attention quickly moves to Lime Rock next weekend. Road course, really short road course. It's a double points event. What is the feeling going in for that 24 truck going into Connecticut next weekend?
Well, it's my home track. I'm from Connecticut. I got to show up and make something happen. I really love Lime Rock as a road course. But full body stock cars on road courses typically aren't my forte. So definitely gonna have to rent out some track time, get some laps in before the race on Saturday, and really kind of make sure I'm up to speed, because that's a big place for me to make up some ground. I haven't made it to all the races this year, so I just need enough points to keep myself in the playoffs and make a run late in the season.
A huge factor going into this season. Obviously, going in, you were 12th in points, right on the cusp on the playoff cut line there. Tonight's result's going to help you out significantly in that factor here. Already a race win this season, still looking for race win number 2. Before we let you go and let you get ready for Lime Rock next weekend, Chris, if there's anyone you shout out and say thank you to, sorry, I called you Chris. I was looking at Fleming's name on the roster. I apologize for that, Connor. But if anyone is you want to shout out and say thank you to, the floor is yours. 12th place in points. You'll gain a lot. You'll move into the top 10 in points tonight. But take it away.
I'd like to give a shout out to Justice Top Media, Elite Performance Industries, KST Graphics, I'm Lefty Designs, and and just a brief moment, the paint scheme for anybody watching at home for this patriotic night was a throwback to the Pools division from the 32nd Infantry from World War II. I hope it looked really good on the broadcast. That was a really special paint to make, just an homage to one of the most decorated tank divisions in World War II history for the U.S. military. So I was really honored to run that paint, and I'm really glad that it came across my mind to do that. So definitely a special shout out to all of our armed forces, even though no national holiday, but we figured we'd do patriotic night, and I figured I'd throw that in there.
Always a good time to do patriotic night. We don't race on Memorial Day weekend with everything that goes on that weekend, so a great place to fill it in here tonight. It looks fantastic on the racetrack and even better on the podium. Connor, congratulations on the result. We'll see you again at your home track next weekend. Enjoy it and stay safe.
All right, thank you.
That was Connor Knowlton, our third place finisher here tonight. We will move right on along to that of Kevin Feemster, the P2 finisher, second place for Kevin Feemster, back on the podium. A much needed result after how this season has started for you, Kevin. Walk us through it, because that was a lot of survival tonight.
Yeah, it was a lot of survival, and I about stepped on it under that green flag stop because I wrecked going in the pits. I took 2 tires just to try making up time, and luckily we got that caution. So, but man, it was just I wish I had 2 more laps. I was talking to Brent. He said I probably only needed another lap to catch him there. So it was just, second place is nice. It's nice to get a podium, but That was close.
Yeah, it's a step in the right direction. Obviously, the season has not been the easiest for you, all things considered. You know, you're sitting here, you're fifth in points, average finish of 11th, average start of 12th going into tonight's race. So obviously, some room to maneuver and improve. That being said, moving into the top 5 in points, moving further into the top 5 helps out significantly. With Lime Rock up ahead being double points, what's the feeling for the 17 camp going into the road course there in Connecticut?
Same thing. Most of the season I've been trying to just be patient and stay out of stuff, and for the most part I have, and I've had a few rough races. So the setup's should be okay. So I mean, I'm probably just gonna be patient. Double points race. If everyone's patient, we'll come out hopefully top 10. Top 5 if I'm lucky. But I just got to be patient. Let it come to me when it comes, and let people go when they're there. So it's just being smart at a track like that, especially on that uphill right-hander. When you come over top of there, it's going to get, bottoms out, loosens right there. So you just got to be careful. There's a couple spots there that are sketchy.
Obviously, a fantastic job at P2 finish for that 17 truck. Obviously, a different look for it. Matt across the board, giving it a nice little sheen. What was it based on tonight, that new look for the Patriotic Night?
Yeah, it was just a homage. I served in the U.S. Army for 6 years, and it was just I miss those days. I miss my brothers, and it was just paying homage to everything that I've been through, and those that have been through it, and the names that I've had to scratch off that are no longer here. Just a shout out to all my Army brothers and throughout the years.
Did a fantastic job wearing that Army paint scheme home in P2 tonight. Before we let you go and get ready for tomorrow's race in the A Square Cup Series and everything that comes up before Lime Rock next weekend, you know the drill at this point, Kevin. You've been around long enough. If there's anyone to shout out and say thank you to, the floor is yours. A fantastic effort, P2 tonight in Charlotte. Very important race to get the job done in.
Thank you. I got to shout out you, ABN. Y'all are just amazing. The content that's been going out week after week has just been absolutely phenomenal. So I have to give a shout out to y'all. I gotta give a shout out. I'm the owner of this series. Dale helps me as my co-owner. He's not a partner. He's a co-owner with me. I gotta give a shout out to all my drivers and everyone who puts in the effort. Everyone that shows up. Everyone that constantly talks good about the series. I gotta give a shout out to everybody. I couldn't do it without all the racers. I couldn't do it without Dale helping me tremendously. So yeah, that's my shout outs. The drivers and my co-owner, and you, of course.
Absolutely a fantastic job. It's been a busy day for us here. I've been live now for I think 13 hours because we have a sports car race beforehand that started at 7 a.m. So we've been going at it hard. But Kevin, you earned a fantastic job here, second place here in Charlotte. Enjoy it, and we'll see you again obviously tomorrow night in the A Square Cup Series and next Saturday in Connecticut.
Absolutely. Thank you, Carmen.
That was Kevin Feemster, second place finisher here tonight. An absolutely outstanding job. We'll move on, though, to the man of the hour for the second time in 6 days, a race winner on avian screens. Bren Roberts, after winning at Atlanta, turns it around, wins in the trucks here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Bren, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Wild job here, wild turnaround here across this week. You won as a fill-in, a super sub in the HCL Cup Series in Atlanta on Monday. Didn't have the great day on Wednesday. Obviously, a challenging return to the ABN Champ Car World Series. Glad to have you back for that series as well. Dust it off, shake it off, and grab a race win here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Walk us through it, because that car was back to front quite a few times tonight.
I actually had a pretty tough race. I didn't do any laps, and I didn't qualify. I joined last second, and I was lagging at the start of the race. I kept dropping out of the race and coming back, and my quality was low. And I started the race with 90 quality, and I was like, this might be rough. And then it stabilized. Started making my way up through there. some good calls in the pits, tires, etc. And then I took 2 trying to battle Seeger, and that was not a good deal. I was like wrecking every corner. I got saved by yellow. And then I ran over Connor under caution, so that was my bad. Sorry about that. Clearly I wasn't just paying attention. And then I just got lucky with the way the cautions fell there at the end. I mean, everybody that was up there at the front could have did what I did. I just got lucky with how the cautions came out and where I was positioned on the restarts, and it was just about hitting your marks in the corner, I guess.
Obviously, it works out for you here. You've not made all the races here, but results like this obviously help out. You've entered this race 16th in points. Top 12 make the playoffs here, the High Octane Series. You do a decent amount of climbing to get closer to that goal here. Obviously, I don't think it's close to mind just yet. That being said, there are some fun races coming up that might once again be in your wheelhouse. Lime Rock being double points coming up right next around the corner. You had a rough race. Hopefully next weekend goes better. Is Lime Rock something that the 84 Toyota might show up at?
Yeah, I hope so. I enjoy road courses in stock cars, so I might not run up front, but I'll have a good time doing it. So yeah, if I'm free, I'll do something next week.
All right, mentality to have. Go out and have fun and try to grab a race win while you're at it. A fantastic effort for the race winner here tonight. You got 2 wins in 6 days. We're going to see you again tomorrow night in the A Square Cup Series, and we're going to see you on Monday, maybe, if they need a super sub again, in the HTL Cup Series, because they're in Michigan on Monday, place you're very familiar with on your own right. Before we get to that point, though, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. I know 1MA Racing's done a lot of carrying this week to get from point A to point B.
Yeah, shout out to those guys, Blake, Jared, and Boss, Daniel. I mean, they're a part of 1MA on Sundays, and Blake and Jared, obviously. Jacob, you for the broadcast. Feem and Dale for putting it on. I didn't have the banner on for some reason. That was my bad, so sorry about that. And yeah, I hope to do well tomorrow, and I think you will probably see me on Monday. I just don't know what car I will be in. So yeah.
Plenty of options for Michigan on Monday. We're glad to see you back on ABN screens in a full-time capacity, even more than we already were on Sundays. Bren, enjoy the race win, and good luck tomorrow as well.
Thank you.
That was your top 3 podium interviews here tonight. No audio issues either, so we nailed it across the board. Fantastic work there. That being said, let's go ahead and pull up the full running order here in Charlotte. Ren Roberts, your race winner, did not qualify. Started this race dead last and made it up to the front of the field, winning here at the Charlotte 150. Kevin Feenster, Connor Knowlton. That's your top 3. Knowlton starting and finishing in the same spot there, P3 for him. Matt Thorndren from 8th to 4th. Not a bad effort. Vincenzo Iacovazzi, once again, challenging for the race, or for the championship lead. I have to double check the points on how that all calculates, but he may just have it after a really bad race for the 16 and Matthew Seeger. Donald Ray in 5th. Elliot Longenecker rounds out your top 7. Dale Markowski, Tristan Catania, Briley Wright round out your top 10. Then it's Steven Oberstadt, the last car on the lead lap, in 11th. James Wagoner, Colin McDonough, and Elrich George, your top 14. Elrich George not making the finish after a late yellow with less than 15 laps to go. Big notes there. Donald Ray, big recovery. Spent a lot of the race not on the lead lap late. Got both those laps back. Ended up back in the top 6. The pole sitter had a rough day, but recovered nicely in that number 19 Chevrolet. Looking down the rest of the order here, you have Chris Melton, the 52, also not making the finish here. Tom Sears missed the first 15 laps of the race. Came back out, took part of it, was a fantastic sport. 16th place for him ahead of Aiden Norman, who also showed up and tried to put on a show. Did a really good job with that in the Bojangles, number 62. Then you have a lot of the retirements at the bottom of the order. Matthew Seeger, Chris Fleming, Robert Keats Jr., Marshall Harris, and then the failure to start the race for Patrick Allen Jr., 22nd, is where he'll be classified here in Charlotte. double duty action tomorrow on YouTube. It's the ARCS A Square Cup Series. We hope you join us on that 7 p.m. on YouTube. Right here on Twitch, 7:45 p.m. the Winstall Cup Series from Montreal. The Circuit Gilles Villeneuve hosting the Winstall Cup Series for the first time, and they'll be back again on Monday for Michigan in the HTL Cup Series. Glad to have HTL back on ABN screens. On behalf of everyone here for ABN Studios, for ARCS High Octane, for the Drip Diecast and Collectibles, and all of the partners around ARCS as a whole, I'm Carmen Sienna. Thank you all so much for joining us here for a wild day of racing. We'll see you tomorrow for even more. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you next time.